Hello, this is Guy Harris. I'm here with Ross Moloney, CEO of LEEA, and we are talking about many things that are facing the industry and what LEEA, of course, are doing to support their members at this difficult time. So,
Yeah.
so Ross, I noticed or saw, sorry, in a recent address from yourself that you're looking to restart face-to-face training from the first of June. Is that an achievable timeline, do you think?
So I think we were talking earlier about, if I had a magic wand, what would I encourage government to do? Well, I'd encourage them to come out and put some markers in the ground, really. So our marker in the ground is 1st of June. We're going to begin face-to-face training. It's achievable in that we have the capacity to do it clearly. We can have the resource to do it. We know that there is demand out there. We just thought it was important to have a date to work to.
Mm-hmm.
When we go out to the market, when we go to our members, if our members are saying, Ross, June the 1st is not achievable for us, then we'll just pull it. But we believe, we've done the risk assessment and the premises, we believe that we can keep social distancing. We believe that we can do everything that we need to. We've got masks, we've got the right PPE, we've got all of the things that we need to make it a safe learning environment. So yeah, June the 1st, when we're planning to begin face-to-face. In terms of the capacity, we're not going to be working at full capacity. We're going to deliberately try and keep student numbers lower than they were so that we maintain social distancing.
I mean,
that's what we're working to.
Yeah, I mean, it is happening. I mean, not wishing to mention company names over others, but we did receive an editorial piece for our leadership edition of LHI, which is coming up very soon, from ITI, and they mentioned that in fact they had conducted a face-to-face training session with a company called Blue Origin. Now, I'm familiar with Blue Origin from my space industry days, but that is a company owned by Jeff Bezos, who obviously owns Amazon and has contributed $1 billion to the COVID-19 pandemic. But they did manage to overcome social distancing, and they just had to really redesign a room and just follow the SD clarification, the rules. So it can happen, right?
Yeah. So we've got our own premises, so we've got a big space there. We wouldn't offer it if we thought that we were breaking regulations. So June 1st when we're up and running, so the team are out there. The challenge for us isn't the premises, it's if there is demand now. So we're going out and we're testing the market. We'll see if members want to buy it, want to be part of it. If so, we will proceed.
But you're seeing a big uptake on e-learning at the moment, is that correct?
It's been unbelievable, actually. So the board that I work with at LEEA, so the LEEA board is really on top of its brief, and that's a good thing and that's a bad thing for a chief executive. So it means that I'm forever getting challenged, I'm forever getting the sort of the constructive advice, criticism, that means that we are always trying to move forward. So when this happened, we had the board meeting that we have every month, and then we had one following on from it the next week. And the board straight away said, look, this is going to be a tough period for our members. Discount e-learning. E-learning is going to be absolutely in the sweet spot because of lockdown, because of social distancing, because of furlough in the UK. But, let's make it cheaper. So straight away, we've got a 25% discount on it per person. And that was a 30% discount for 5 or more bookings, and that's still there. That's there for April and May. So we think that that's had an impact. But our April 2019 e-learning enrollment was 40 individuals. This year, at the close of play yesterday, we were at 148.
That's
So
impressive.
it's just, we're over 3 times. We're approaching 4 times what we did
So
last year.
e-learning is becoming the new normal.
Well, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if that is, because some people still like face-to-face. I think I like face-to-face learning. It's a different experience. But e-learning is definitely been. It's maybe what we think is happening is that people that hadn't tried it are trying it now.
Okay.
So that, there was always the option between e-learning and face-to-face, and it was no, I prefer face-to-face. Now what we think is, well, it's an example is when I go and we drink a lot of Diet Coke in the Moloney household. When I go to the shop and I can't buy Diet Coke, I'm coming home with Pepsi Max. And we think that might be what's happening with e-learning, that people who decided that it wasn't for them are now thinking, actually, this might be something that we can try. Out of those numbers, what's really interesting, and we think this is the sort of data I was talking about earlier that we'll share when we've got a real grip on it, is the vast majority of that's not happening in the UK. We assumed that the furloughing arrangement, which allows training to happen, might mean that e-learning in the UK would really take off. But most of those sign-ups are, the vast majority of those sign-ups are outside of the UK. So it feels like other parts of the world are planning for that recovery,
Yes.
which is a really important message, we think.
It would appear so, wouldn't it?
Yeah. And the fact is, as you know, Guy, our e-learning is award-winning. It's really reasonably priced. It's forever getting updated and changed. And all of our curriculums now, they're the team. We launched a mobile crane examination e-learning course on April the 6th.
Oh, that's very
So,
rare.
it's all there. And the ITI example, more and more we're going to be looking at training that's about an immersive experience rather than just chalk and talk.
That's right. I mean, that's something that they were writing about in this particular article, and they were saying that there are some key factors that mean, okay, training is historically face-to-face, and we've all some way or another gone through that process, and that's our experience of it. However, you can have polls which make it interactive. Zoom meetings make it equally interactive. You can even run diagnostics, so managers can see the progress of their students. And at the same time, as you rightly say, I mean, so many people are on furlough at the moment. You might be isolating, but isolate and innovate. And if you can train and be ready to hit the ground running when the bounce back or the reset button is pushed, then that's got to hold you and your company in good stead, hasn't it?
Yes. And I think, when we're talking about what's the world going to look like in 2021, what we're doing at the moment, that's going to be normal. This, this still feels a bit new and a bit Star Trek-y.
Yeah.
But actually, people are going to be used to conference calls, whether it's Zoom or anything else. This is going to be part of our everyday life, and it's, it will have impact.
It will.
We won't be driving 3 hours to go to a 2-hour meeting anymore. That just won't be happening. Of course, we'll still have face-to-face interactions, but I don't think it's a particularly bold prediction to be saying that more and more of our work time will be spent doing this sort of stuff rather than sitting in a car or in a traffic jam.
Well, I mean, I can echo that, and certainly some of my clients can. I've spoken to many over the last sort of 2 months, and they're saying just that. Working from home could well be the new normal. Hot desking, 3 days in the office or 2 days in the office, 3 days out potentially. This is, I think, what the new workplace is going to look like. Maybe the new work regime.
Yeah, and so I think that for the case is, clearly for people that can work in an office, that's going to happen. But thinking about our sector and engineers on the front line, how is their work experience going to change? So they're still going to have to go to site. They're still going to have to actually physically examine stuff. But one of the things we've done last week or the week before was introduce our open learning zone online. So if you go to the LEEA website, you will find the learning zone, and we are putting up free videos that are deliberately aimed at guys that are out there in a cab eating a sandwich. And so there's 2 videos up there that deals with thorough examination. There's one that of Ben talking about a set of standards and introducing the COPSHAW. And so more and more are learning our CPD. Well, I think as LHI has shown in the way that you're doing things, the written word's going to move more and more towards what we're doing, the spoken word, this sort of insight where, it's the TikTok generation almost. It's going to be, how can you impart insight, knowledge, wisdom on a phone screen rather than necessarily in a book? And there's probably, I'm sure there will be place for both of them, but it's definitely that move towards watching stuff rather than reading stuff.
I mean, personally speaking, I love the face-to-face interaction, whether it's going to a meeting and seeing a client, whether it's a new client or it's someone that I know like yourself very well.
Yeah.
I don't think really there's any substitute for that, if I'm honest with you. But you're right. As you know, I used to live in Spain, so I'd jump on a plane and come over and see you. So my carbon footprint was pretty bad, if I'm honest with you. But we could have quite easily, excuse me, I've done it on Zoom. How is this going to impact, for example, the LEEA sort of experience through the exhibitions? And I know you don't call them road shows anymore, but can you give us some dates as well, maybe, and tell us a little bit about what the plans are for those future events?
Yeah, so we have cancelled / postponed every event in 2020. So the golf day was one of the first casualties. And I mean, the golf day is my favourite day of the year. So it was, with real regret that happened. That's just been pushed back basically to the same date in 2021. And Reed Lifton are still going to be hosting it on our behalf. So that's just been pushed back. The main LiftX show is supposed to be in Liverpool. We're still working on a date. LiftX is an autumn show. So we're still keeping it in Liverpool in 2021, but pushing it back. Haven't been able to secure a date yet with the venue. The Bahrain LiftX, so that was LiftX Middle East. We've moved that back to March. That's March the 7th, 8th and 9th. I think the 7th is the set-up date, so the actual exhibition's the 8th and 9th.
Okay.
Cairo was a one-day LiftX Light, we were calling it. So that's had to be rescheduled. That's going to be rescheduled into the spring as well. All the member meetings, which are, the old road shows where we go out. As you said, we still think it's really important to go out and have face-to-face networking time. So you can have these, which is the formal communication bit, but actually they're having a cup of coffee and networking. That's what an association is. So we still intend to have those. The plan at the moment is we will still have meetings and they will be supplemented by things like this. In terms of 2020, we haven't got any dates at the moment. It's a bit wait and see. We'll see where we get to.
That seems like the most sensible approach anyway, really, Ross.
So, it's difficult, guys, because LEEA's 75 years old. And so I do not want to be the chief executive that crashes it on the rocks. But likewise, we've got 1,200 members and we are a membership organisation, so we are here for the members. And so I'm probably working the same balancing act that every commercial organisation is. It's how do you maintain a great service without over allocating your resources, basically.
Yeah.
And so, and I know that some of the things that I've done in the sense of LiftX being pulled felt very serious at the time, and they weren't decisions that were made easily, but I feel pretty relaxed and confident that on balance they were the right set of decisions to make.
I would agree. And I mean, and you're not alone. I mean, just about every trade
No.
show out there has been affected, pushed back, or cancelled. I mean, Logimat was cancelled this year. That's
Yeah.
a massive show, of course. I mean, we managed to get to Modex. We exhibited at Modex and saw a lot of people on the ground there, but that was affected in terms of numbers, visitation. But really, that was the last show that went ahead.
Yeah.
And I think, it would be expected from your members, as well as the boots on the ground, that Liftex wouldn't go ahead this year. And let's just
No.
look forward to 2021 and hopefully a bumper showing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Liftex is a lot of hard work, but it's a great week. It's a great week for me personally. It's a great week for the association. So yeah, I'm hoping we can still get Kevin Keegan for 2021.
Well, I was looking forward to meeting Kevin, but yeah, hopefully next time, as you say. So okay, let me ask you another question here, Ross. How has COVID-19 affected some of these key initiatives that were launched last year, such as the school engagement project? That's the Think Lifting project that
Yeah.
I was very much involved with. Great supporters of that. And then, of course, you have the military transition scheme and your apprenticeship scheme.
Yeah.
So what's going on with those, if you wouldn't mind telling us?
Yeah. So if I talk about the three of them, so the school engagement project, but we've spoken about, and this is something that I think there is general consensus on across the industry, that this is an industry that is a bit of a Cinderella industry in the sense that it does everything, but it's always in the background. So we talked about how we might be able to raise awareness of it. Why is awareness important? Well, awareness is important because you attract better quality, better caliber individuals into the industry. Because at the moment, if you dream about being an engineer, you probably don't dream about being a lifting equipment engineer. And so what we're trying to do is go to the tree and make sure that we have real aspirational, high quality individuals that are interested in engineering, that actually look at lifting equipment and think, wow, that's interesting. That's a real opportunity for a life. So the school engagement project is absolutely based on that. And where we are is, just to remind you, the idea is that LEEA, the association, is going to create a suite of tools that we then pass over to our members, and our members go and engage with local schools or youth groups. And at the start is film 1, at the end is film 2, and then in the middle are some school materials, some class materials which relate to the curriculum, and some experiments. So film 1's on the website, film 2's on the website. So the bread of the sandwich is there, and they are awesome. And they just are great. The feedback we've had, thankfully, is that the industry loves them. They are being used across the industry. We had a member in the States asking me if it's okay to put it on his website. It's okay to put it on the website. This is a gift. This is not, there is no charge associated. This is free. We love it. When it's on LinkedIn, I get super excited about it. So they're up and running. The school material is on pause, and the experiments, we've gone through phase 1, and the honest truth, guy, is I took some experiments to the LEEA board and they hated them. so I'm looking for some alternative experiments.
Right.
So
okay.
they were tested on the board.
I was going to say, if they hate them, hopefully the target audience might love them.
Hating them is probably a bit of overkill, but there was not as much love for them as I needed there to be. So basically that's paused at the moment.
Okay.
We don't feel like we're under pressure because there's no schools open.
Well,
so
no, indeed. And that's pretty much the same the world over, of course. And I know you have aspirations to roll it out to other countries.
That will still happen. It's just we're not under the time pressure that we were. So we will finish that. We'll finish that circle. The apprenticeship carries on. Obviously, that bit of the world, the public sector bit of the world's a bit under pressure at the moment. But the apprenticeship, and this is another one that's really important. This is an England only apprenticeship. And we know that we are a global association. The idea is that we're creating the framework, the pathway to show what an apprentice could be learning. When that pathway is complete, then we're going to take it to the other bits of the world and say, here's the pathway. Is there any government funding for this? So in England, this is funded. We've made contact with the Scottish government. That hasn't gone anywhere yet. So I'm going to be looking for the Scottish members to help us speak to the right people.
Okay.
Because it's a devolved policy area, so
that's
education
a call to action.
Scotland. So so that rumbles on, and it rumbles on suggests there's not as much momentum as there is, but that will be tied up and finalised in England very soon. Can't put a date on it because of the COVID challenges. The military transition scheme is a new thing that we're launching just this week. So the 75-75 programme was deliberately aimed and targeted in our 75th year at 75. And that was about military leavers. So if you've left the forces, LEEA was going to give you free training, link you up with a LEEA member who was going to give you a work placement. And then if you went on to secure work with that member, then we were going to support you on an ongoing basis. But that always felt like it was half of the coin. The other coin is, how did we actually get individuals who are serving to use LEEA training so that they are ready to come out and go into civilian work? So I went down with a couple of board members, met with them at the school. We had a great meeting. So it's very straightforward, and the best solutions are straightforward solutions. I probably agonised over this for too long, but the solution's straightforward. LEEA has a team card. What happens with the team card is you do a foundation bit of training, you do an advanced bit of training, and then you are eligible for this credit card, which is the LEEA team card. It's red, it has your name on it, the date that you pass on. It's linked to the CSCS card. So basically, it's often your pathway onto site. So you can show it at the gate, and it's like, right, you're on site. What we are now doing is introducing a LEEA military team card. So if you are a serving member of the forces, the pilot in the UK, we're going to be rolling it out across the world. Okay. If you do a foundation course, same. If you do an advanced program, same. You can get this LEEA military team card. It is not linked to CSCS. It is not the same product, but it's in the same family. What we are not doing is creating a competitor with our members. So these guys that have this card cannot go out and do third-party inspections. That's absolutely not what we're doing. But what we're saying to these guys is, do LEEA training. You can do the e-learning. We'll give you the biggest reduction we can. Do the e-learning. This has got 3 years currency on your card. When you are looking to come out of the forces, if you get it and after a year you come out of the forces, you can swap that straight away for 2 years worth of LEEA team. So it's helping them into civilian employment, but it's also helping our members that they can recruit and not have training costs. Yeah. Straight away they can get somebody that they can put out to work. So that was launched on Friday. It was a soft launch. We had our first recruits sign up on Monday for the training. Wow. I've done a video that is on a Facebook page. It's a closed Facebook page for military and personnel. And to be honest, that's one of those things that we don't know how it's going to go. It feels like the right sort of thing to be doing. Yeah. You know, there were a couple of challenges, not least that, how do we make sure that we're not setting up a competitor with our members? So we've role played it, we've game played it, but it's there now. The dream is that we're going to have however many people coming out of the military with a LEEA team card. We're going to have LEEA members looking to employ straight away. There you go. So hopefully it's a bit of lead in the pencil to the military transition scheme as well.
Well, it sounds fantastic, and I've always thought that initiative was so worthwhile.
I'm hopeful. It's just the right thing to be doing, and at the moment where you're thinking about, heroes and people that make sacrifice. It just feels like the right thing to be doing.
Ross, on to another initiative, Global Lifting Awareness Day. That's GLAD 2020, of course. Would you like to give us an update about that? Obviously, LEEA and LHI, yourself and me, and content specialist Bridger Howes are involved with this initiative. How do you think that's progressing at the moment, and what are your expectations for the 9th of July?
Yeah, great. So I think it's important to note that it's, as you say, this is not a LEEA initiative. This was you, me, and Mark talking over a drink about how we might be able to work together, about what some of the challenges are in the industry, and that we were talking about the lack of awareness of how important lifting is, and how our industry is that Cinderella industry, how our industry sort of can get forgotten about because it's embedded in manufacturing, in logistics, in energy creation, offshore. And so what we do is actually this big, but our recognition is down here.
Yeah.
And so that's why we've started thinking about how can we get the world to be a bit more cognizant, a bit more recognizing of the fact that high quality lifting isn't just about the bottom line, it's about life and death. It's really, really important. And so, between the three of us, we're all a bit tight. I think that's fair to say. So we were coming up with a solution that was cheapish, but was powerful. And so we started talking about, what about trying to take control of social media for a day? And so GLAD is Global Lifting Awareness Day. And it's the aspiration is that we're going to be trending on social media. So what we're hoping is that I can get LEEA members, you can get your readers, Mark can get his contacts to embrace hashtag GLAD 2020. It's not prioritizing anybody over anybody else. What it is just saying what we do is really important, and we are glad that we do it properly. And so the hope is that people will use the logo, will whack it on their email signatures, will share it on social media, but we're also hoping that they'll come up with some content. So it'll be things that are what you're glad about. You're glad for safety, you're glad for standards, you're glad for technology. And so I'm hoping that on July 9th, I will see content on LinkedIn, on Twitter, on Instagram, Facebook, and I'm hoping that there will be films, pictures of great lifting. I also hope that there might be some of those comedy ones where you see people drop stuff and nothing bad happens.
Indeed.
But those ones that you all look, everybody looks at them at LinkedIn. But I'm hoping that what we will do is raise awareness of what we do and what we are, and why is really important, because when policy decisions get made, raising our awareness will mean that we are at the top table. When funding decisions get made, raising awareness means it's a lot easier for people like me to go to Secretary of State and say, hello, we're here.
Yeah.
And so I think that it's for all the right reasons that we're doing GLAD, and it's for some self-interested reasons. So, it's not going to cost our members anything. What we're hoping is that this will be a key part of social marketing campaigns. And that logo, that logo, you can find it on the LEEA website, and it's not on a hidden area. It's on the website. Download it. Yeah. It's not a LEEA initiative, so if you're not a LEEA member, please feel free to use it. I've spoken to associations in other countries; they're going to get on it as well. This can be a global thing. I'm really excited about it.
Yeah, I know Mark Bridger and Richard Howes have been very proactive on that front as well, as have we. So just to really underline that point, Ross, I mean, we want anybody and everybody who is synonymous with the lifting industry to celebrate the lifting industry. And as we all know,
yes,
that's
the right word. That's the right word, guys.
If you go to a manufacturing site, you see the use of overhead cranes, hoists, forklift trucks, aerial access equipment, vacuum lifting. I mean, it goes on. So it doesn't just have to be an sort of OET thing or a hoist thing. I mean, if you're a forklift truck manufacturer, we want you to engage with this process as well, don't we?
Yes, and that's really, that's really important. We are not trying to put a lovely bit of packaging on something that's a bit dull.
Mm.
This industry is hard, is specialist, is really technologically challenging. So, I am not from this industry. So when I go to a technical meeting, I just don't understand what they're talking about, Guy. This is real advanced technical stuff. And so what we're simply trying to do is show the world that what happens here is hard. It's proper engineering. This isn't unskilled. This is really, really important, advanced engineering.
Yeah, I mean, I completely see where you're coming from. I mean, we've discussed this so many times around this initiative and others.
Mm.
The lifting industry is this almost like this invisible pillar holding up so many different
Yes.
other sectors and industries. And it's about time we really got that recognition, I feel. What I would like to say actually at this point is it's an open call for anybody to send information regarding what they may be doing around the 9th of July, Global Lifting Awareness Day. Send it to Lift and Hoist International. They can send it to me directly, or they can send it to our Chief of Content, Maria Hadlow, because our June edition is going to have a focus on Global Awareness Day. So we want to hear from companies to see what they're doing. And hopefully together we can raise the profile of this great industry.
Yeah, great. So your next edition, is your next edition your leadership edition then?
Yes, it is. Yeah, that's something that we've been considering for some time, but suddenly everything seemed to fall into place around the COVID-19 pandemic. I mean, obviously, as industries started to grind to a halt in some aspects of industry, at least, we're always going to be challenged getting editorial content. So we thought we would bring in a different concept. So we've reached out to major stakeholders, major manufacturers, people from outside the industry even, to talk about how they're coping with the current crisis and imparting some of that knowledge. And really it's there to hopefully prepare a road to recovery. And I'm happy to say that will be coming out in just a few days' time. So look out for that. I know you've contributed as well, Ross. So thanks very much. In fact, something I wasn't aware of until you contributed that piece is that you're quite a keen boxing fan.
Yeah, I really am. Yeah, it's my thing. Yeah, it's funny because as I said earlier, my wife's a GP, so she has quite strong views about my liking for boxing. But no, I love it. And until you have been to a live boxing match, you've not really experienced the atmosphere. So I just absolutely love it. Josh Warrington fighting in Leeds, unbelievable. I saw Josh Warrington. It's not particularly relevant for lifting equipment, but I went to see Josh Warrington fight Lee Selby at Elland Road in Leeds, and he had Kaiser Chiefs playing I Predict a Riot, and I thought the roof was going to come off that place. It was just, not that there is a roof at Elland Road, but it was just unbelievable. So I was actually trying to arrange a meeting with AWolf over in Las Vegas to go and see Wilder Fury.
Okay.
That felt like it might not be a sensible use of members' funds, so that didn't happen. But no, I had tickets for Dubois Joyce at the O2, but that got pulled. But yeah, actually, I've always thought about getting Ricky Hatton to the LiftX Awards, the LEEA Awards, but I don't know about Ricky Hatton.
Well, Ricky Hatton
went for Riley instead.
Ricky Hatton was obviously in or sort of ringside with Tyson Fury, was he not?
Yeah.
When he beat Deontay Wilder. That's one of the things. That's one of the unfortunate casualties, of course, of COVID-19 and social distancing at the moment, isn't it? Not just sport in general, but that particular bout.
It is, but we all want Joshua, don't we? We all want Fury Joshua. That's the one that we're
Yeah,
really
of
keen on
course we
seeing.
do. I think the entire world wants that. Well, I can say that our readers can read Ross's opinion piece, his leadership piece in the leadership issue. We're acutely aware, of course, that that at the moment maybe our magazines that are being printed and mailed are acting as door stoppers. Because people are furloughed and not necessarily working at home. And we understand also that people might be reluctant to give us their home address details. So people can go online, they can register free of charge, whether it's a digital edition or a future paper copy once they're back at their desks, and they can see that May edition. And we've actually changed from a flash-based digital edition to HTML5, so it's accessible on any device. So I look forward to sending that out very soon. I think we've well, hopefully people will agree that we've put together something quite special in a pretty difficult time. So Ross, thank you very much.
Pleasure.
Hopefully, if as they say, if we get some thumbs up, we'll be doing more of these in future.
Yeah, brilliant. Good.
I'm glad
Good
you did that and I didn't.
Oh, was that too cheesy? Yes.
Don't worry about it. We'll be keeping that in the video. Look,
Good.
Ross,
And as ever, all comments are my own, and anything that I shouldn't have said is just because guys edited it in. I didn't really say it.
there you go. I take full responsibility. No, I don't. Look, thank you very much, Ross. And you know, I wish you, the board, your members, every luck and success going forward. Stay safe, as they say. I hope your family stays safe, and look forward to seeing you.
Yeah, you too. Yeah, brilliant. Good to speak to you. Thanks very much.
Thanks, Ross. All the best.